I'm Reece Parkinson, coming to you from Fulham's training ground for World Mobile. World Mobile is combining balloons, blockchain and hybrid connectivity to build an unstoppable mobile network run by the people, for the people, in the places that need it most. Why? Because we're stronger connected. Okay, so I'm here with Antonee Robinson. Antonee, so good to have you here, bro. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. We want to speak about kind of how connection has played a big part in your life, and from the start. And let's go to the start. Let's go to the scholarship. So talk to me about kind of your early days playing, and was there any kind of ups and downs that came with that academy level? Because you hear so many stories.
I feel like my whole academy life was a lot of ups and downs, to be honest. So it took me to some amazing places. Like, I got to travel a lot, go on tours, to Belgium, Holland, Africa, places like that, places that I wouldn't have probably gone to if I hadn't been playing football. So I was fortunate there. But my whole time coming through the academy, I wasn't really looked at as one of those bright prospects who's gonna burst through and have a good career. I was kind of just there. Didn't start. I was on the bench a lot through the academy.
Academy?
Yeah, at academy level. So coming up to under 16s when it came time for scholarship decisions and stuff, I straight up just didn't think I was going to get a scholarship. When I got told, I was very surprised because I had very limited game time and whatever, but they still thought, they must have seen enough in me that they thought it's worth it to give them a scholarship. And that first year of my scholarship, I was kind of up and down played the year below, just so I was getting minutes, and then a couple injuries here and there. So we won the league that year, but again, I didn't feel like I'd played much of a part in it because I wasn't playing as much. So in the second year, when a lot of our players had already signed pro contracts and things like that, it was sort of my last chance to kind of prove myself, to try and get my contract, because I hadn't had that sorted yet. And I remember I think it was the last game of pre-season, getting a knee injury, breaking my kneecap. When I woke up from the operation, the doctor said to me, yeah, it's probably going to be around a 5-month recovery. In my head, I thought that's taking me to February. And
how old would you have been at that point?
It was the day before my 17th birthday. I was going to do driving lessons, stuff like that. That was all out the window. So I was just, I had months of just going to college in a knee brace, not being able to play football, doing my rehab and stuff like that. And it was, it was a tough time, but I ended up getting back fit in November time. And had a pretty strong season that year. I actually won under 18 Player of the Year at Everton.
Wow.
Got my first pro contract, and yeah, it all kicked on from there really. But my family just trying to keep me positive and say keep working hard, and the bad times will be over soon enough and things like that. So thankfully I got through that, came out the other side of it really positively.
Yeah, I was going to say, who were the people in your life that kind of supported you at that time? Because I can only imagine getting an injury where you feel like, I'm not even sure if I'm going to get that pro contract anyway. It must have been devastating. But was it the parents or kind of mates at school that were there?
Mainly parents. So that was obviously from school. We'd left and gone to a new college. So all my friends from school, I was slowly sort of not really speaking to them much anymore, because we'd all gone to different schools. The college I went to, none of my high school friends went to. So it was mainly my parents. They've always sort of instilled in me to have a good attitude and to embrace the down periods in your life and come out of it the other side stronger. And I do look back and I think that time I was injured, I used it wisely, got really strong in the gym, bulked up a little bit, and then when I came back, physically I was in great shape and I was playing really well. So I definitely used that time to my advantage rather than letting it get the better of me.
Yeah, amazing. And then, speaking of injuries, it was 2014 where pro contract's been signed by then, and then you get a really bad knee injury at that point. How was that, and how did you kind of deal with that in your career?
That was tough as well. So at that time, I was just training with the under-21s, doing really well, and then I got a call up for the first team pre-season trip, which someone like me who hadn't really been used to being around that environment, it was crazy to just jump straight into being included with the first team. Went to Singapore, was trained, and was working hard, doing well. Came back, and then I remember we had a game against Leeds and didn't know the team. We hadn't done any shape or anything the day before. Martinez was the manager at the time. He put the team out and I was starting, and I was like, wow, that's unbelievable. Yeah. I couldn't really focus on the meeting because I was just I'm starting, that's unreal. I was texting my mum straight away, I'm playing. And then done fairly well in the game, but around the 90th minute, it was right at the end, I just remember planting my foot and feeling something in my knee go. and that took a while to diagnose. So I was, in and out of training, playing for the 21s. I remember having a game where I just pretty much couldn't run, but I was still playing. Played really badly against Tottenham, and then after that game I asked to get another scan, and they seen that I'd torn the cartilage in my knee. So that was supposed to be a 4 to 6 month injury. It ended up being 9 months. So it was literally the whole season I was out injured from August until May or whatever it was. And again, I only had a 1 year contract, so in my head, like, I'm injured, I'm out for the whole season. They could go either way here.
You're thinking it's over.
Yeah, thinking like, I've not really got a chance here. But our 21s manager at the time, Unzi, called me in and said, look, like, you obviously did really well coming back from your last injury, and we haven't seen anything from you this year bar pre-season, so we're going to give you another year to just like see what you can do. So then I had another year, made sure in the off season that I was like doing as much as I can to be fit and be ready for the next season. And it was a good one. Like, I didn't miss any games with my knee that next year. I don't really think I had many injuries that year. Played really well. Won the under-21s Premier League that year as well. Nice. Which it was just another year of positive. So again, coming out of the back of another injury, done really well.
Yeah, no, amazing. And then, from the injuries to more, maybe I guess, kind of something that was more in the public eye in terms of that you definitely overcame was, the move from Wigan to AC Milan. It's kind of such a football manager type move that. But, there were so many people like, oh, wow, like what an interesting kind of move this is. You end up going to Milan, you hear that so many times in football, and you're about to sign, and I'm sure you're at the San Siro like, wow, okay, unreal. When that falls through, how does that play on your mind, and how do you then suddenly have to shift your mind back to, well, let me focus on where I was and get another season in me?
Yeah, that was definitely an interesting one, because in terms of expectations in life, I feel like I'm quite a pessimistic person. Like, I pretty much, it's things like when I book holidays and stuff, I feel like the holidays, I'm not going to even be on holiday until I'm actually there.
Yeah.
I don't get my hopes up for anything. So the Milan move, the whole of the January window that it was getting talked about, I just didn't think it was going to happen. And then at one point, the move was pretty much off, because the player who needed to leave Milan at the time, it seemed like he was going to stay. So I was like, right, I'm not moving now, so I'll just carry on with Wigan, keep playing. And then it was the day before deadline day, he left, so it was like, right, you're going in quick. So I turned around really quick, get sent straight on a plane to Milan, doing my medical and throwing on AC Milan training kit to do my medical and stuff, and I'm starting to get excited. Then I'm like, wow, this is it. Unless I have a scan and something shows up on my knee or something that they're not having, then I'm signing for them. And then after 4 or 5 hours of doing my medical, I go to their headquarters to sort out my deal and sign the contract, and they just turned around and said, look, we've picked up something with your heart, which we're not going to be able to find out in time what's wrong with you, so we can't sign you, you won't get a license to play here. So I was just kind of sat there, everyone around me was talking. My agent at the time was my dad. He was stood talking with Maldini and the other higher ups of there, and I was just sat there with my head down, not knowing what to do, where to look. Excused myself. I just said I just need to go to the bathroom a minute, and just went to the bathroom and just cried my eyes out for a couple of minutes, because I was like, I've absolutely ruined it here, and I don't even know. Especially because it was something that I've never had any sort of symptoms with my heart. So it was if it was my knee, I could have expected it and been like, that's annoying. But to be something completely new, I was like, nah, that's so sad. So I flew home that day, got back to my girlfriend, literally the same thing, just cried for the night. And then after that, I'd let it all out, stopped feeling sorry for myself. I just got up the next day. Wigan were playing, but I wasn't involved, so I just went they played Leeds away, I went to watch it with my friends, went out afterwards, let some steam off with them, and then it was just more focusing on, I didn't have time to be sad that I've missed out on a move to Milan. It was, I need to find out what's going on with my heart and sort that. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to play football again. So that was kind of took priority, and it took a few months, and then kind of came to this conclusion that it might be caffeine related. So I just stopped having caffeine, and then luckily didn't need any further surgery or any more intrusion or anything. I get back to Wigan, play my first game in 6 months, which was, COVID obviously put a delay on the season, but I only had a couple sessions and got thrown straight into a match, which just to be back on a pitch felt amazing after sort of not knowing what was going to happen in my life. And then we finished the season, I think, a point in the relegation zone, because we'd been into administration that year. So we ended up getting relegated by 1 point with a 12-point deduction, which stung a bit, but then I've ended up coming to Fulham that year. and getting Premier League football. So again, like there was plenty of ups and downs in that one year, but ended up me becoming a Premier League footballer, which is what I've always wanted.
And mate, as a Fulham fan, I'm extremely glad that you're here. Antonee, thank you so much, bro. Thank you for your time. Appreciate
it, man. Thank you,
mate. I mean, what a day here. It's been incredible to see the strong connection that the Fulham players have with each other and how that's helped them overcome some of the difficult situations that they've gone through in their careers.